Good morning. Sunday, race day. Lovely wife getting ready.
Let's do this.
It is race day. We've been here for a couple days, as you've seen. We're getting fueled up.
Grits and eggs and ham.
And cheese.
And cheese.
So it looks like it's going to be a good day out there. See you down there. This is the last time you're going to see me before I hand the camera over. We made it to the Smile Train with the amazing athletes that have raised such a wonderful donations for an amazing cause. We are just about ready to get into our wetsuits. We are going to be way down there, and then we're going to be coming out way down there. So it's going to be like 143.2 miles when it's all, or 147 when it's all said and done. So anyways, I'm going to be signing off here. Next time you see me, actually you can't see me, will be hopefully the finish line.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
One lap, all right? Nice.
You guys got it. You guys look good, actually. Go, go, go.
Woohoo! We are here. We're back home. You know, you probably think we're showing off our jackets, which we might be just a little bit, but I'm gonna be a little honest. It's a little colder here than it is in Arizona, and I just got done doing a recovery ride and trying to get my fingers back to me. But other than that, we're here.
You are looking at right now 3-time, count them, 1, 2, 3, Trace, 3-time Ironman.
This one was truly close to my heart and the most memorable and the most, words can't even describe. To have the honors to be able to do it next to my wife and just know with the health issues that she's had and to be able to see out there on the course how truly effective it is to her. To the point where she was at an aid station and they were going to pull her. She pushed on. It was truly an amazing day out there. I got penalized for drafting her. That in itself, you know, it's one of those things where you just can't control the inevitable things that are out there that are going to happen during race. And you've just got to go, okay, you know, now what do I do? What do I change my attitude? And my attitude was, I'm going to go into the penalty box as fast as I can so that I'm not impeding on her and that she doesn't need to be stressed out.
So when Bobby came to me and said he was going to race with me and actually truly stick with me, it was like this huge relief, like, okay, I can go through and finish and actually do this, you know, Ironman that I had signed up for the 3rd time. But just with our schedules and stuff, we really didn't train together at all. You know, we just train at different times a day and things. And so as the race got closer and closer and closer, especially race week, I started just to get really, really emotional and just the sense of what if I DNF, which means do not finish. You know, that's one thing. If I don't, I'm gonna have to live with those emotions and deal with that. But what if I prevent him from finishing too? And that was just a really heavy burden to have on me, I was feeling. And so I just found myself bursting into tears kind of at the drop of anything. Once we kind of got to Arizona and got there, you know, and checked in and everything, my emotions just even became higher and higher and higher. And so I was super worried, and then especially, you know, how's it gonna go? That's a long time out there, you know, as a single athlete, as an athlete, you know, racing next to your spouse. 140.6 miles is a long time. You go to some dark places mentally, you know, you're tired, you're exhausted, you want to quit mentally, you want to quit physically, things start hurting. You know, how are we going to do together out there? Is he going to get annoyed at me? Am I going to be, you know, that I'm holding him back, that I'm going too slow? Am I going to get annoyed at him? And so there was just a lot of stuff kind of going through my head those days leading up to the race. And he just kept telling me, nope, this is for you. I'm not racing as a competitor, we're racing as husband and wife. And so we, right there at the swim start, we saw Jackie and Neil and Ronnie Crenshaw. They were right there at the swim start with us, so they let us start together actually. And that was kind of it. We gave each other a kiss and off we went. We had a plan for getting out of the water to know if one of us was already out or not. We had the Tuckers there to let us know. And so we got in the water. It was, I think, 62, 63 degrees, so pretty cold. My body doesn't adjust to temperature whatsoever. And so, you know, starting the swim, I was feeling really strong. And about halfway through, it just was miserably cold. I couldn't feel my hands anymore. I couldn't feel my feet anymore. My right arm turned into just this like limp noodle. Everything was just kind of seizing and hurting because it was so cold. At one point, there were some stairs, and the aides in the water who have like on paddle boards and stuff had a couple of people actually pulled up on the stairs tending to them, and I looked at them and I was so tempted just to swim over there and be done. And at that point I knew I couldn't let Bobby down already. Like, we were just starting the race and there was no way I could just quit and give up on him. I just had to keep going. And so I just started praying and praying and praying, and all of a sudden I looked up and it was like, there's the finish, we're almost done. I can hear the people, you know, coming out of the water announcing them, and it was this huge sense of relief. And so I got out, and Alicia and James were there, and they told me that Bobby was about 9 minutes ahead of me on the swim, so he had an absolutely amazing, amazing swim.
It felt good. I was blessed enough to have a few people through this season, this time around, point some things out to me, and one of my main jokes in my head when I'm swimming is when they first started showing me some things was, you did 2 Ironmans swimming like that. So there's a testament that you can get through anything if your mind is put to it, but with the proper people around you, that would be Jason and Jerry, thank you, that can show you a little bit more efficiencies. Whether or not my time was faster, the efficiency, and I just felt a lot more smoother. So that in itself was just a tremendous thing in the water for me.
Got out of the water, wetsuit stripper stripped us off. I was absolutely freezing, just shaking. I couldn't feel my hands, couldn't feel my feet, and it was about 0.4 of a mile from where you get out of the water to T1, which is the changing tent for transition 1. And I got in there and I was shaking so bad. They have amazing volunteers in there. I think there's almost as many volunteers as there are competitors for Ironman, which is absolutely awesome. So my volunteer was right there with me. I'm trying to take stuff out of my bag to get ready to bike, and my hands wouldn't work, so she's just grabbing stuff for me, and I'm shaking so much. She called someone else over and told them to go call medical for me, and I was like, no, you can't call medical, I've got to do this. And she just started putting everything in my pockets for me. And she hooked my helmet on, she put my socks on me, my shoes on me, because my hands and feet they couldn't grab anything whatsoever. They were so just absolutely white and frozen. Just hurried through transition knowing that Bobby was so far ahead of me already, and came out of the changing tent, and right there I could see him standing by our bikes with just this huge smile, and he just gave me the biggest hug and kiss as we jumped on our bikes. It was like, okay, I've got this. I made it out of the water. I can get through this now. And off we went on our bikes.
And this was where the work was going to begin. It's a 3-loop course, fairly flat, if you will, 500 elevation on the loop, so about 1600 overall. Everything was a good day out there. The weather was nice. We had a little bit of wind coming at us going out, but that just means you can throw the sails up heading back. The first loop out, as I was stated before, I got penalized for drafting her. May not have said some nice things, but the reality is the referees are out doing what they're told to do. They don't know our stories. They don't know I'm doing it with Andrea. They just see a cyclist not within the rules of the distance. So I commend the course marshals. So we came back in. The Tuckers were there, and they saw me come back in first with a kind of a puzzled look of where's Andrea, and they weren't too far from the penalty box, so I'm sure they saw me go right in the penalty box. Andrea came back around, and then you had met up with Jackie and Neil?
Yeah, Jackie and Neil, I saw them there, so I stopped for a second just to take in some more nutrition, taking some Endurolites from Hammer, which are absolutely awesome. Because I saw Bobby was still in the penalty box and figured, he's got to be, 30 seconds or so. And the first thing they kind of said to me was, where's Bobby? And they knew we were planning to race together, so I'm sure in their head, they're like, gosh darn it, he took off without her. And I was like, oh, penalty box, and they started laughing. They thought that was pretty funny that he got carded for drafting me. So we took off on the second loop and
got out to the turnaround, and Andrea's leg was just at that cuffs that it was getting ready to have a seizure, if you will, which when we did stop, it did start convulsing, which was literally the reason why I was there. That was my time right then and there. When that started happening, it was to be able to explain to everybody what's going on, to be able to help her get through it, to know either if she was capable of being able to, continue on, or if we needed to call it.
I really wanted to see if I could keep going. My whole right side was just trembling out of control, and in a past longer ride that we did, when it started that, it would eventually stop, and then I'd start riding again, and it would just go, and it would keep going to the point that I was actually falling off my bike multiple times. So that was my big fear, that I was going to be done, because even if mentally I wanted to keep going, physically I wasn't going to be able to, that would be the case again. And we just at that point took it really easily. It was probably mind-numbingly painfully slow for Bobby to stick with me then, but I knew if I tried to push it at all, besides just really easy spinning it out, that my leg would go again and it would just be done. And so after that first time, I was pretty exhausted. It just really drains me physically. So my right side just really felt like a limp noodle, and I was riding mainly with just my left leg, then the remainder of the second loop and all of the third loop.
I was keeping track of the stats, and I knew we were fine. So there was no reason at all whatsoever to try and push Andrea or let her know, hey, we're on a time thing or whatever it was, because that's more stress added on that isn't needed. So we got through the bike, fueled well, I think. Felt good. It was great. I think she was ready to be off the bike. Probably maybe the back half, if not the third lap.
Yes, I was done.
So
done with the bike.
We got off the bike.
Took off went through transition.
Got through transition.
Got through transition. I came out of transition maybe a minute before Bobby, and saw that Jordan was there, which was absolutely awesome. We were really hoping that we'd be able to get to see her. And so when Bobby came out, that was, I think, for both of us, a really, really special moment in the race to get to give her a hug and tell her we love her and take off on the run.
Yeah, it's in the video. But my 9-year-old was with her mom, and they happened to be down in Arizona. So it was real exciting for me to be able to see her, and hopefully, as when she gets older, she can understand the atmosphere and truly what
the significance of what we were doing.
Absolutely. As far as the run, I think I hit every single porta potty ever, and when you're in a singlet, a one piece, it's it can be a little challenging, and I don't ever recall ever going to the bathroom during a race, let alone as many times as I had to, which, I mean, could have been our saving grace as well, because it gave us a chance to recover for a tad bit, or at least Andrea, while I was in trying not to drop things down there, like my fuel and all that.
I'm pretty sure we spent about an hour or more with porta potty breaks.
So,
but you know what? It's all right. The run was kind of interesting for me. I felt like I didn't have any competitive drive once we got onto the run. It was like, okay, we have enough time. We could walk it if we wanted and still kind of finish. So we did kind of a walk jog and took it really easy. Something that was really cool for me to see was just how encouraging on the run Bobby was, not only to me. He had so much just love and grace for me that day, but to other athletes out there. Every single person we went by, he's like, great job, you're doing great. Oh, we see someone struggling. Do you need any Endurolites? Do you need, some salt? Just super empowering and uplifting, I think, to every single person out there on the course, which really is the true spirit of racing for me. That's something that I love about the sport, is that everyone is just so welcoming and encouraging. And so he just really embodied everything that I love about the sport that day. And that was awesome to see how amazing he was to me, but also to other athletes. And other athletes actually came up to me, while he was in his potty breaks, and were like, hey, are you with? And I'm like, yeah, and they're like, that's awesome. I love hearing him cheer people on, and just, he's been really helpful for me too. So that was really, a proud moment as his wife, to hear other people, recognize how positive he was out there on the course.
We have the honors of racing for Team Zoot, as well as we were being able to race for Smile Train. And with that being said, it's important that we represent ourselves in such a way that is positive. There's a time and place for being competitive, obviously, but there's also a time and place when you take that hat off. And Sunday was, that day.
Overall, it was absolutely an amazing day. Yes, it was hard work out there, but we got through it and we endured. And for me, it was so much more than the finish line for this race. It wasn't about being a competitor. It was about racing as husband and wife and using our passion for a purpose bigger than us. And so really, for me, the accomplishment was getting through it with my husband and raising money for Smile Train Team Empower to give children around the world that were born with a cleft the access to life-changing surgery and comprehensive care. And so as a team, Bobby and I raised just about $8,000. And overall, there were 85 athletes racing for Smile Train. And combined, we raised over $350,000, which will provide surgery and care for over 1,400 children around the world. So that for me is, I just got goosebumps actually saying that, is what the race was all about. And that really, in those hard times when I wanted to quit, those were the two things that I just kept thinking about. The kids out there whose lives are rechanging by doing this, and accomplishing it with my husband. And if we can get through an Ironman together, we truly can do anything together. And I think this is just going to be a real pivotal point in our marriage, our relationship, and moving forward in our life.
I know we have a few people, certainly, I mean, we have a ton of people that we want to thank, but there are those that we would really like to address that truly made our adventure and our journey that day a success. First and foremost, I would never have been able to have done it without my wife right there. And we talked about me being there, but it was her motivation, her drive, her being as close to Smile Train as she is for me to get involved. So, obviously I have you to thank more than anybody else, and to know that, we're in this together. James and Alicia.
Absolutely. They were incredible. Great Sherpas. It's a long day for them too, and they took off time from work and everything to travel down there with us. But even besides that, just, in workouts, anytime I'd text them, be like, hey, you want to meet to run, to ride, whatever, they'd be like, sounds like a crazy idea, sure, what time? And they would be there for 3 a.m., 4 a.m. workouts in the dark, in the cold with me, and they weren't even, training for this Ironman. And so that was really awesome, and just such a true friendship they are.
Absolutely. Chuck and Kathleen that were just angels for
blessing us with the gift of their home to stay in Phoenix. Their beautiful condo they have was less than 10 minutes from the race start, and that was just a huge gift to be able to stay there. And then everyone who donated and just supported us. We absolutely could not have done this without all of your generosity. There's so many of you, you know who you are. It'd take too long to name you are. And then one real special person, actually, I just want to give a shout out to. His name is Joel, and in 2017, when I crossed the finish line, he was the volunteer that was there to catch me, and I was feeling great. And a little bit after finishing, I ended up in medical, and I was so worried that Bobby wouldn't know where I was. And Joel, I swear he's an angel. He came and checked on me. I told him who my husband was, and he waited for Bobby to finish, and brought Bobby to me when the race was done. And I was so out of it, I actually sadly didn't remember him. And a while later, he messaged me saying he was going to be racing in 18. And so I was down volunteering in 18, and he saw me just across Ironman Village, and was like, Andrea Fry. He recognized me, and we connected, and have kind of built a friendship through the time. And we saw him out on the course volunteering. Got to give him a big hug during the race, and then lo and behold, when we came in to finish, there was Joel waiting for us to be our catcher once again. And it just seemed so fitting that he was there for us both times that we've done Ironman now, and that I was there when he was doing his last year. And so it's pretty cool how the sport and Smile Train and racing has brought people together who were perfectly strangers and live in different parts of the country and everything. So thank you for being there.
Thank you, Joel. As Andrea said too, I want to express such sincerity and gratitude to everybody that was kind enough to donate to the cause, everybody that was kind enough to support us in cheers, our Facebook messages that we got that morning,
text messages, phone calls. It was awesome.
The congratulations. It truly means the world to us, and we can only, do our adventures as much as we do, but to know that there's those out there that enjoy living through us, or can share the exasperations out there on the course, the I can get out of the water, the I could sell my bike, the I'm never putting my feet in these shoes again, all of that.
And just my hope is that other people see what we've done and are inspired to, use their passion for a purpose, whether it's, climbing a mountain, riding a bike, riding horses, whatever it is, just knowing that something that you love you can do it for yourself, or you can choose to actually help make a difference in the world and someone's life by doing it too. So that's kind of my challenge, and for everyone out there, just to find what you love to do and see how can you do that, use it to better this world.
Absolutely. So with that being said, we are officially absolutely 3-time
Please
Ironman
count them.
finishers. I will be doing at the least 1 or 2 more, you know, before my time is done on this earth. But
And I'll
for
be there
now,
cheering for him.
we are going to be doing in 2020, June,
July
2nd.
The goal is to be summiting Rainier, so that's our next big adventure.
Rainier. So, until next time, again, thank you everybody. We had a blast. I love this one more than anything, and we will see you next time.
See you at the finish line.